Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hello, and welcome back to What's on Tap podcast. I am your host, Martin.
I am Stefan.
He keeps hanging around, also doing all the episodes and doing all of the work.
Paying all the hosting fees and domain name rules, and I'm like the podcast sugar daddy.
At one point in the maintenance of this podcast, I said to Stefan, we could share the hosting costs. And then that discussion kind of disappeared.
Did we ever have that? I don't ever remember having that conversation.
I have offered it once. Then Stefan never resumed that.
How convenient for you. It's like, I brought it up. You never got back to me, so, you know.
But to
I'll bill you later for the hosting cost.
$1 million. But to kind of make it up to him, I
need to pay for my next vacation, so.
But to kind of make it up to you, I brought 2 beers.
Yeah, that almost covers the cost of hosting for the last 5 years.
So if we start with the first beer,
yes.
Now we're completely leaving the topic of hosting costs.
Yeah, of deadbeat podcast co-host. Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
No, I'm joking.
On the very, very, very first episode I was ever a guest on, before I was a co-host.
Yes.
I brought a Trillium beer.
Yes, you did.
Trillium Cutting Tiles, a double IPA. And today...
With Sauvignon grapes, I believe?
I do not remember the ingredients. I only remember
I think so, because there's many of the cutting tiles has many variants involved.
So now I brought another Trillium beer.
Yes.
And today it is Trillium Fated Farmer Series Apricot.
Yes. And didn't we do a double Trillium episode not long ago?
We did a double Trillium, but that wasn't Fated Farmer. That was some other...
Another one of their sour-off brands.
They made a lot of different smaller series. So Stonewell, that's like Apricot series.
Yes.
Fated Farmer is their barrel fermented wild ale series with fruits and stuff. So this is Apricot version. It is from 2019. It clocks in at 7.7% ABV.
Nice.
And the label is just wonderful. It's this old kind of paperish with big juicy apricots on the front.
Yes, and it kind of feels like the beer that you want to drink fresh, but also would be kind of fun to ferment out, because this is good. I guess it was on March 28th, 2019. But I imagine this probably has a 10-year shelf life as well.
It probably has a good shelf life.
Yeah. It smells absolutely amazing.
It smells very acidic, vinous.
You get some stone fruit on the nose. You get a
little bit at least.
There's a bit of a jamminess to this. You can definitely get that up front. It's one of those things like, this is going to be extremely wine pretentious snobby when you smell wines. People smell wines, and there's a reason why they do that. Is because if you do what's called smell across the glass, so you start with a wine just right under your nose, the glass, and then you move it down, and then as you move it down, you get a different experience as you go across the glass.
Yep.
And this beer definitely kind of gives you that experience where if you start up front, it's very vinous, as you said, and very kind of acidic, but as you move across, those jammy apricot notes start to appear, and it just feels like a very rewarding experience. I think we're going to be very, very.
Let's try it.
Let's do this.
Cheers.
It's
very
tart.
Very tart. Super salivating immediately.
Yeah, it's much tartar and drier than I was expecting. Based on from the nose, I was expecting like I said, a much more rounded, sweeter kind of experience. But
it's much more vicious.
This is sharp. This is like it's just like eating a brie and a sharp cheddar. I was expecting more of a brie. This is definitely a sharp cheddar.
Yeah.
This is like a knife's edge kind of like cuttingness to it.
But there are a lot of apricots in the flavor.
Oh, very much so. I love apricot beers too.
I know.
You always think, well, peach beers are really real, but no, peach beers are not that great. Apricot beers are where it's at.
Yes.
That's the sweet spot.
Definitely. And I kind of feel bad because when I was pouring this beer, I poured for myself first, and it's this beautiful. Both glasses are beautiful, but you got a lot of bottom sediment clumps in yours.
That's okay. I'm used to bottom sediment clumps. It happens.
You've let them sink to the bottom, but every time you drink, I see them.
Oh my god, that is rough. That is like a speckled sediment beer.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Okay, so what we've learned here, particularly in this series, and there's a lot of, there's a good portion of this beer left, of things left in this bottle here.
Yeah, as soon as I saw clumps, I stopped pouring.
Like, so, what we're used to in like bottle fermented beers, like say if you get a lambic or gose or something, sometimes you have a lot of bottle yeast settlements in the bottle itself, and so you kind of stop pouring when you get down to like the bottom eighth of so you don't get those sediments in there. There is so much sediment in this that well before you reach that demarcation line of like
probably.
You shouldn't pour beyond this point.
No.
You're already getting a ton of sediment in this, and this is, woof, that is funky. hold, let me see your glass.
My glass looks so beautiful. That's why I feel so bad.
It does. We should get a photo of that. That is rough.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad. I gave you I shortchanged you.
No, not at all. I still think it's a beautiful beer. I think it's quite lovely. I think this says more to Trillium's bottling techniques
Probably.
than it does to the quality of the beer itself. I think the beer is very, very nice. It's quite... if you're into sour fruited beers, I think you're absolutely going to love this beer.
Yes. So to the listeners who follow the most sour things ever, the Cam is known for really sour beers, and they are more sour than this. Some of those are quite difficult to drink. This one I think
Cascade also is right up there with like super sour beers that are kind of a little dusty tasting.
The Cascade is even worse than the Cam.
Yeah.
The Cam makes good beers, but some of them are extraordinarily acidic.
Yeah.
This one is below the Cam and Cascade.
Yeah.
But it's well above most other sour beers. It's really sharp.
It is super, super sharp, for sure. And which kind of makes me sad because I was not wanting it to be as sharp as it is.
No.
I mean, that's just a personal preference on my part.
You want it to be sweeter, jammier, nicer, more mellow and balanced.
I want it to be more balanced, I guess, is where I'm going for. Because I think the apricot notes are there. I think the aftertaste is really quite pleasant and apricot-y, and you get that fruit forwardness there. But that initial hit is quite a punch. And then when you add to that how much sediment is in the bottle itself, some people would be quite offended by the
amount of sediment in your glass.
Clumpy goo that's at the bottom of my glass.
Yeah.
And really, I'm having a hard time describing it any other way. It looks like... It looks like mold in a snow globe.
Yeah, he's also making it worse by moving it around.
That's quite detracting in the experience itself. Because I don't think, like, for a 375 centiliter bottle, it shouldn't be this egregious.
No.
Maybe it was at the bottom of the bottling process, so there was more sediment or something.
Maybe.
But having said that, I am going to give it a 3.75.
I'm going to give it a weak 4.
Yeah.
But if you just look at our glasses, you would understand why there's a 0.25 difference.
Yeah. I think my glass is more like yours. I would give it a 4, but this is so unappetizing that I'm not gonna drink anymore.
And the Fated Farmer series still exists as of recording this episode today. There are still a lot of variants. I didn't double check if Apricot specifically, but several of them are in different European web shops.
All right, that's good to know.
Trillium is still available on the market.
Well, I just really like seeing these Trillium sours personally, because I think their IPAs haven't really lost a step. Like a lot of your American IPA companies have really, I think, fallen a little bit. I don't think Monkish is producing quite at the level they used to. Tired Hands.
But Tired Hands made mostly sours and farmhouses, right? I don't think Are we thinking of different?
Maybe we're thinking of different things.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think of the other big...
other half.
Treehouse, other half. I mean, I don't think they've been hitting quite the quality level they used to hit, say, 3 years ago.
No.
So I'm glad to see that Trillium, I think they're still doing really good IPAs, double IPAs, things like that, but they're branching out and doing kind of other styles as well.
Yeah. And it's better to send a large shipment of sours to Europe and just let the web shops sort it out over a period of a year or two, because these beers won't go bad in that time.
No.
Sending a big shipment of IPA will just create a chaos. It will create instant deflation in the market when everyone has them, and then all of a sudden they're useless. It's
exactly.
It's a weird thing.
All right. So next beer we have is a
Swedish beer.
Local brewer who is kind of becoming one of the best breweries in Sweden, I think.
It's definitely one of them.
Yeah. Duck Pond has been formerly was it microphone
brewery, and then they drank microphone brewery beers at a festival and realized we need to change our name.
So they became Duck Pond.
Yes.
And Duck Pond has been doing really good stuff. I mean, they have been doing, like I would say, world-class beers consistently. So they have a new beer called Cherry Pop. I'm guessing it will be a imperial gose with cherry and vanilla. Yep. It comes at 8%. Yep.
Have you smelled it yet?
I haven't smelled it yet, but I'm expecting it to be a cherry vanilla sensation.
It is.
Ooh, that is sugary.
Cherry vanilla bubblegum.
Oh, it smells really good. It smells like a really fun, like, party beer.
I think. I thought it smelled really good, really fun.
Yeah.
And then I thought, Stefan is either going to really dig this or be immediately put off by this because the aroma it's approaching artificial.
Oh no, I 100% expect this to be super artificial.
Yeah.
But it also smells like like a fun party beer. And for me, Duck Pond kind of does fun party beers for the most part. They've been doing a lot of like really rich, sugary kind of IPAs, and they've been doing a lot of
Black and Blue was one, and Darkwing was one, and
Darkwing is so good.
It's so good.
So I mean, they've been, and this just feels like right in the wheelhouse. What I'm expecting from this. So cheers.
Cheers.
Well, up front, kind of sweet.
Yeah.
But the finish is tart and tangy, and
it's much more. It's tarter than I expected.
Much tarter.
But I'm happily surprised by that aftertaste.
Yeah.
This aftertaste is the same as in every Duck Pond beer. They've managed to the fruit flavors differ, but it's the same lingering tart, sweet, jammy combination finish.
Yeah. So definitely this beer smells like it's going to be just pure sugary diabetes kind of in the can, but
it's not.
You get kind of a quick hit of vanilla, fades almost immediately, and you get this kind of like tart black cherry, almost like sour candy kind of finish to it. This is really, really good.
It's a lot of fun, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised by the cherry flavors. It's like eating real cherries, getting some of the pit.
Yeah.
You kind of scrape the cherry off the pit with your teeth. And you get a little bit of the pit flavor with it when you're eating cherries off the branch.
Yeah.
I'm raised with a cherry tree in my parents' garden. That's why
nice.
I say this. But I always ate them too soon when they're still a bit tart, and I always kind of ate them and dragged them off the pit. They remind me a lot of this beer after the vanilla has faded.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I appreciate the vanilla. I think it doesn't do service to the rich cherryness of the beer.
No.
It's almost like a detractor in some ways because it doesn't last long enough. It doesn't round out the back notes. It just kind of hits up front and then just dissipates almost entirely. And then you got the kind of astringent cherry tartness in the back end of it. And I think it's very deceptive in that way.
Yes. It's interesting because
it just smells like cherry pop.
Yes.
But when you taste it, it's not cherry pop.
When I smelled it, I was preparing an argument. I was preparing the argument that the vanilla probably saved this beer from artificial cherry death. But that prepared statement is so wrong.
It's like the opposite, actually.
It's the exact opposite now that we've tasted it. I sometimes do that, especially for this show, because I want to contribute at least something. So I will try to figure out what will I say about the flavor based just on the aroma. I'm trying to think of it as I go before I say it.
Well, what you don't know is I buy all of these beers. I try all of them before the show. So that way when we do the show, I'm already well rehearsed. I've already come up with I have what you don't see are my talking notes.
Exactly.
So
he has
I've got pages and pages of just talking notes.
And I'm sitting here with a scribbled note on a napkin saying beer good.
Yeah. Didn't suck. Tasty.
Is beer good? No, but this is fun.
It's another hit for Duck Pond and continues to impress and excite and makes me look forward to what else they're going to do. So they've kind of creeped up on my list of Swedish breweries that I just always buy no matter what they put out.
But you didn't buy this one, right?
I think it was sold out. That was why I couldn't get it. That's why because I was traveling.
Systembolaget. 1 second after 10, Martin goes bing 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 bing.
Yep. And I didn't get to order online until maybe the 4th. So
that's why you have me.
So I just went through and just picked the beers that I wasn't able to that were available to me.
Nice.
This one was not.
No. So what do you give this?
I will give this a 4.25.
I want to do it. Maybe it's a strong 4. It's probably a weak 4.25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the balance between the cherry and the vanilla leans more towards the tart cherry, which I really like. That it wasn't so artificially vanilla forward. And then you get this nice, rich tart cherry back notes.
Yeah, 4.25.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Right. So you can find us online at What's on Top You can find us online What's on Tap Podcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you can find fine quality podcasts. Until next time,
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.